Hey friends, it's Lex at LexReads, and today we're doing a very, popular video, because originality is dead and I was kinda lazy. So today I'm doing my 5-star predictions. So these 10 books are books that I think, after I read them, I'm going to rate them 5 stars. And then, so how these videos work, if you haven't seen one, I am not entirely sure who popularized them. My gut wants to say Books and Lala, Kayla, but that might just be because she's the first YouTuber that I watched do it. Yeah, so how these videos work is in this video I'm going to sit down, I'm going to tell you the 10, I think I have 10 books that are my 5-star predictions for however long it takes me to read all 10 of them. And then eventually I'll do a sit down wrap up where we see if I'm right. We gotta see if I know myself. Yeah, so without further ado, let's just get into it. The first book that I predict is going to be 5 stars is The Arrival of Someday. The Arrival of Someday is written by Jen Malone, and it's about our protagonist Amelia, who is a roller derby star, and she's doing pretty good in school, and she's a senior, and she's getting ready for college. And this rare liver disorder that she was born with flares up, and suddenly she might be dying. So she needs a transplant, but until, they get that call that, someone on the donor list is a match. Haha. She's just trying to go about her life with all of these question marks. Everyone in her life is treating her differently, and she's really upset about it. Enter Will, who is from her past. I want to say a past friend, but I'm not entirely sure. And he promises not to bring up her health. So they start hanging out. I think they fall in love. The whole thing is, she's like, I know that it can never last forever, but what does? Also, the cover, stunning. I'm excited to read it. I think that one's going to be 5 stars because it ticks a lot of the boxes of contemporaries that I like. I like hard-hitting contemporaries. I like mysterious person from my past shows back up. I like crying. The next book that I predict is going to be 5 stars is Foundryside. This book is by Robert Jackson Bennett. This one is actually an ARC that I received and then didn't read because I'm the worst. It's also signed, which is really cool. But essentially this is a heist novel following our protagonist Sansia, who has been asked to retrieve this powerful artifact. This artifact has unimaginable powers, and it has the possibility of changing the entire landscape of how everyone lives. Powerful capitalist bad guy wants it for himself. She has to team up with people to keep that from happening. Heist novel. I love me a good heist. But it's got a lot of the things that I like. Badass female character with a specific skill set. Heist. Next is The Night Circus. This is by Erin Morgenstern. Everyone and their mother, brother, cousin has read and been obsessed with this book, it seems like. I haven't read it. This one is the book on my list that I'm the least confident in it being a 5-star. And this one, it's actually fantasy, so maybe it's not historical. I'm not entirely sure. I've heard so many people talk about this book, and I still don't know very much about it. We're in a circus, we've got magic. Celia and Marco have to do this, duel type thing. One of them is going to be left standing, they fall in love. I love magic. I love witchy shit. I love the witchy shit. I like these really intense, duel to the death. I dig that. Forbidden Love. Side Effects May Vary by Julie Murphy. This is also an ARC, but this came out in 2014, so I bought this secondhand at a bookstore. This book is about 16-year-old Alice, who is diagnosed with leukemia and thinks she's dying and vows to spend the rest of her year, which they assume is going to be her life, doing things on this wild bucket list that do things from embarrassing her ex-boyfriend and her arch nemesis to doing something really friendly for a stranger and reliving childhood memories, and she enlists her friend Harvey to help her with it. And then as soon as they complete the bucket list, she goes into remission and has to deal with the consequences of all of the things that she did. It has, grim prognosis. Seems like it might be a love story between her and Harvey, ? Epic bucket list. Hard-hitting contemporary. Next is Peep Show. Peep Show is by Joshua Braff, and you probably haven't heard of it before. I bought this secondhand a few years ago at a thrift store, and first of all, this is one of my favorite covers of all time. We're following a protagonist who is a 17-year-old budding photographer named David in New York in the 70s. His dad runs an adult theater. His mom is newly Orthodox. It's about him peeping behind the curtains in his home, and also the theater, and also it's supposed to be an expose on the world's a stage and we're all playing a part. It just depends on what costume you want to wear. It sounds really interesting and I really want to read it. This is the author of The Unthinkable Thoughts of Jacob Green, if you've heard it. I'm pretty sure that one was a bestseller. And this is an adult novel. I think it's the only adult novel on this list. Foundryside might be adult. I actually don't know. Next up we have Grim Lovelies. This book follows Anouk and her friends / co-workers, and they're beasties, which means that they are animals that have been enchanted to be human. One night, their mistress, the witch that made them, is murdered. They are thought to be the culprits, and they go on this wild quest to clear their name and stay human. Let's see. We got badass female protagonist, I'm assuming. We have witchy shit. We have realistic fantasy magic in the sense that, they're still operating within, our construction of the world. There's just, a secret world beneath it. Found family, ? Next up, we got Shatter City by Scott Westerfeld. This is the sequel to Imposters, which was my second favorite book of 2018. This came out in September of 2019, and I still haven't gotten around to it. This exists in the Uglies universe, which is one of my favorite book series of all times. This series takes place in the aftermath of that series. The first book follows Frey and Raffia, two twin sisters in the city of Shreve. And Frey was basically born to be the body double and, shooting target for Raffia so that Raffia doesn't get hurt. So no one knows that Frey is alive. She gets sent to Victoria, another city ruled by this, royal family, and she's essentially a hostage while the two negotiate a deal. This is post that book. I'm super excited. Next is The Mermaid by Christina Henry, who is my favorite author. This one's a historical fantasy, so... but it's also my favorite author, so... This is about P.T. Barnum and the mermaid scandal, but it's a fantasy version, so I don't know very much about that real scandal, but P.T. Barnum, if I do remember correctly, claimed to have a mermaid in his, it was essentially a freak show. But he was a liar and kind of a scumbag. But in this version, there is a real mermaid. She is under the impression that she can leave whenever she wants. That proves to be untrue. I'm assuming it's just a struggle between the two of them for her to get her freedom. The cover is gorgeous. Christina Henry's writing is gorgeous. If you haven't read any Christina Henry, I so highly recommend it. Alice is my favorite book of all time, which is an adult horror retelling of Alice in Wonderland. These next two are bold, because both of them I DNF'd in 2019. That being said, I do believe that when I get through them, they are going to be 5-star reads. Which seems strange, I'm sure. The first one is Furyborn. We follow Riel back in the day, who exposes her abilities when trying to save her friend, the Crown Prince. And also Eliana, I think her name is? Yes, Eliana is a bounty hunter. 1,000 years later, also can do all 7 kinds of magic. There is this prophecy that foretells like 2 queens with the ability to do the magic. They're fighting in a cosmic war, dual timeline. This one, the things we stand, badass female protagonist with a specific skill set. Dual timeline. I dig a dual timeline. I'm into it. Witchy shit. I love me some magic. Cosmic War / Prophecies. And the last book I don't have my physical copy of right now, but it is Renegades by Marissa Meyer, which is the superhero, supervillain fantasy that I read the first third of and then wanted to read a mystery book, so I put it down to read a mystery book. And that one, superheroes, supervillains, badass female with a specific skill set, forbidden love, unlikely heroes. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Those are the 10 books that I predict to be 5-star reads for sure in 2020. We will catch back as soon as I'm done reading them all to see how correct I was. I anticipate being about 60% correct. I think 6 of these 10 books are going to be 5-star reads, like, in reality. As individual books, they all feel like they're going to be 5-star reads to me, except for maybe Night Circus. Night Circus might be a 4. But in reality, you know, I might be like, I loved The Mermaid because of the writing style, but the historical fiction made it 4, or whatever, you know. So we're going to see. That's all I have for you. Like I said, thank you for watching. I post a new video every Thursday, sometimes with bonus videos on Tuesdays. In pretty much all of January, I posted 2 videos a week, so there's a good chunk of backlogged videos. If you're interested, you should go and check them out, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, friends. Mwah!